Good morning, YouTube. My name is Chief Apostle Nikki Jones, and I have been doing some videos on YouTube, doing some podcast segments as well. And this is new, recording for YouTube. This is very new and stretching me. So I'm on probably 7 podcast channels now. I'm in full time ministry. I have 4 children and 7 grandchildren and counting. I've been a nurse, a LPN for 23 years, and now retired to do full time ministry. So I've been doing things. The name of my broadcast on Facebook that I've been doing it has been bringing the kingdom of heaven down to earth. It's the name of some of my podcasts, and on Facebook I've been doing different videos on prayer and other practical principles in life that I've learned through the years. And today I just want to talk about um, good stress, good stress. And this was given to me back in November 13th, 2011. One of the nursing facilities I was working at, a resident came up to me with an article and he handed it to me. And the article was titled Good Stress. And it said it is good to start something new, even if the effort makes you uncomfortable. And that's true with me doing this for the very first time on YouTube. It was very uncomfortable to me because I had never done YouTube. I had to set it up in order to do recording. And as I was doing the recording, you had to put in, your email. You had to get passwords, and I couldn't get the right password. I was getting frustrated, and I was like, okay, God, how about I just go back to Facebook Live? I was comfortable with doing Facebook Live. It was familiar to me. I had got used to doing it, but this is the product of good stress. Sure, I'll be mumbling and making mistakes on this video because it's my first recording on YouTube. So I take everything as I get it. So I'm not afraid to make mistakes, and I'm not afraid to let everybody see my mistakes. So with that being said, so the Lord started talking to me this morning. I love to write, and I hear from heaven, and I write on paper what I get. Like I said, this article come from November 2011. One of my residents at a nursing facility that I was taking care of have given me a piece of paper, an article that talked about good stress. I had no idea that I would be using it today, um, November 5th, 2019. So, so the Lord had me write down some things that come out of um, good stress, and when you're starting something new, something you're venturing into, whether it's a new job, um, a new relationship, you want to go to college and start school you had never done before, or you're taking on a job position that requires you to learn something new. So it's going to be a good kind of stress though, because you have good stress and you have bad stress. So the good stress. So on November 14th, 2011, one of my Alzheimer's residents told me, your new job will be a clerk choreographer. I then asked him what type of work will I be doing. He then said you will be listening to messages with headphones. And then he said listening and recording. Prophecy is always in part. We never know the whole story from the beginning at the time that the word is spoken to us, because we will mess it up. That's our human nature. We'll mess it up. And I'm just now walking in that prophetic word out. Do I have headphones on? No. But I am listening for messages from God given to me from heaven, from God. And then I'm recording them on on Facebook Live, on podcasts. I just started Twitter yesterday, so follow me on Twitter, Chief Apostle Nikki Jones. I'm on Twitter, um, bringing heaven down to earth. Now I'm on YouTube recording videos. So I am just walking into this realm in my full-time ministry publicly, because I have been doing private one-on-one ministry. So I have been walking into, um, I'm just started walking into public ministry and this prophetic word that was given to me back in 2011. So one of the things that comes from good stress is stretching, and Webster says stretching is to enlarge or distend, especially by force, strain, to cause to reach or continue, as from one point to another across a space, to amplify or enlarge beyond natural or proper limits, expand, become extended without breaking. So most of us sometimes, as me working in nursing, I have taken care of people who have sprained ankles or things like that. They're not broken; they're sprained. That muscle is stretched. Is stretched. So stretching is one of the things that's gonna um, come out of good stress. Um, you're going to be stretched. You're going to be stretched out of your comfort zone, moving from the what's familiar, like the YouTube thing for me today. It's not familiar for me to record on it. I go on it all the time to listen at songs and to watch other people videos, but this is my first time, so I am being stretched, and there are other areas in my life that God has me doing new, which is all of these recordings, the podcast. I didn't even know anything about a podcast, didn't know what to do on it, so now I'm doing that. I have been being stretched, not only now in doing this, but in my 23 years of nursing, God would always have me going into new places that I've never been, in another state. I just walked in a door not knowing fully, what that facility requires. I know how to take care of people, but each facility has different policies. So it's like no matter how many years I had been in nursing, it's like I had to start over with each new position, because everybody don't function on the same level. So I had to, relearn some things. So it stretched me. New computer systems. I had to work with so many different systems from one place to the next. As technology grew, at first when I got out of nursing, everything was on pen and paper. So then all of a sudden things started going to computers, and so I'm left to, you know, I like to write. I don't like computers, but everything is advancing, so I have to keep up with what's going on. Number two, preparation. And the definition I chose come from Webster 1828 dictionary. I do have that dictionary also, and that came out of a dream, because I had never heard of a Webster 1828 dictionary, but I do have it here as part of my library. So, preparation, the act or operation of preparing or fitting for a particular purpose, use, service, or condition. God spoke to me many years ago and said, what it takes some people 20 years to do, you will do it in half the time. Again, God spoke to me many years ago and said, what it takes some people 20 years to do, you will do it in half the time. And so I have been preparing myself for full-time ministry publicly all these years. I was telling my Facebook family that I have 7 journals that I have written things in, like this, like the good stress, and how I got that message is it comes out of a journal. I went through my journal this morning. The Lord had me going through it, and there were several things that I had forgotten about, and I had wrote them down for such a time as this. God is so amazing how he prepares us for what's coming up ahead, even in things that has happened bad in my life and in the life of my family. God has prepared me beforehand, to be able to, you know, take it, it to, in order for it not to destroy me. In other words, I've had time in prayer. I've spent time in prayer. Like, I mean, this past week or so, I have been such in the presence of God, such in the presence of God. He's only allowed me to eat certain things, and the less I eat, the more I write. So it's preparation, being prepared to walk and step into the new opportunities that God has for us. You know, it's amazing. Another one is being teachable. And I say teachable is going beyond what you already know. Teachable, going beyond what you already know. The dictionary says readily receiving instructions, apt to learn. My nursing experiences, I talked about, my nursing experiences, and the different programs and the computer software. I had to always be ready to be taught. I had to be teachable at all times. I mean, going from one place to the next place, for many years I had to learn new things, new computer software. I had to learn policies and procedures all over again because, like I said, each facility is different. And then when I took a position in Arkansas, I had to learn their way of doing their state regulations. And I was in there like, okay, oh, I ain't used to this. So I was being stretched. It was uncomfortable, but I was teachable. So they were able to train me to do what I needed to do in order to fulfill that position that I did. So I was a quick learner. I always wanted to learn new things. So um, being teachable, letting somebody instruct you and train you. Um, the next one is flexible or flexibility. I got that definition from the 1828 dictionary. But my definition says being able to figure it out as you go. That's Nikki's commentary. Nikki's dictionary says being able to figure it out as you go, on the job training. But the 1828 dictionary says the quality of admitting to be bent, easiness to be persuaded, readiness to comply, capable of being turned or forced from a straight line or form without breaking, not stiff, yielding to pressure. Because when you walk into new atmospheres and new things that God has for you, um, you're going to have to be flexible, even in where you work, where you live. He may require you to move somewhere else, relocate, or go from um, one city to the next. I've lived in many places in my nursing career because I'm the type of person I can just pick up and go. I don't have a place that I would call home. I don't have a place that I call home. So I'm able to just pick up and move when the Lord lead me to go somewhere. And I don't, sometimes I'll be like, oh, are you sure, God? Are you sure? And and so, you have to be flexible. And some of the positions I had to do more than one job duty. So I had to be flexible where I can move around. I've had jobs where I had to be on call all the time. I had one job where I had my phone plus the company phone was on call 24 hours a day. A couple jobs I've been like that. So I had to answer the call in the middle of the night. And I had positions, assistant director of nursing, which required me to be over people. So I would have to get up out my bed as a supervisor at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and go check up on my employees. And So it requires you to be flexible. So God is requiring us to be flexible in this season in order to walk in the new. Um, Follow up is very important. I didn't have that in part of my notes, but as I'm talking, God is, download is giving me things to say. So follow up. Um, I've heard the saying said, you can't expect what you don't inspect. I'm gonna say that again. You cannot expect what you will not inspect. So, as a supervisor, I had to follow up on my employees. I had to do trainings with them. So, we have to be sure we are following up and checking behind our employees or people we're coaching and teaching, because we need to see, um, check areas of improvement, check for accuracy in those things, even in with me doing these podcasts and the Facebook Live and Twitter. When I check them all the time because I want to see how many views I have. I want to see what people are saying. I want to know if it's helping. I want to know if what I'm saying is helpful to them. And so I'm following up, looking at comments, looking at views, and trying to see in what ways can I improve what I'm doing in areas, and trying to use every piece of technology that is available to me in order to get the word and get the word out to minister to people in whatever practical, simple ways that God would have me to do. So, good stress, there's stretching, there's preparation, there's being teachable, there's flexibility, being flexible, um, and there's follow up, the one that I hadn't written down, follow up. So when it talks about effort, in the beginning, I mentioned it is good to start something even it is good to start something new, even if the effort makes you uncomfortable. So effort is, I Nikki's definition says, the grace God gives us to do what he has purposed us to do. This is what I think about when I wrote effort down. The grace God gives us to do what he has purposed us to do. The Webster's 1828 dictionary says it's an exertion of strength or strenuous exertion to accomplish an object. So in new things, we're going to have to put forth effort. And effort requires discipline. It requires, since I'm in full-time ministry, I'm home all the time. So I can't just lay in the bed every day. I have to get up, and just like I'm going to work. Just like I'm going to work, I have to get up and get ready to hear from God and to go in front of the cameras and do and and say what God has told me to do. I can't lay down. I can't, I have to, I don't watch TV that much. My TV hadn't been on, and I don't know how long, over a week or so. I know. I'm in my prayer room office now. I have little prayer bed behind me that I'm always praying and seeking the face and presence of God. And what you see on the wall are just the many cards that I've gotten over the years of nursing. They're everywhere. They're behind me. Some of them, the holes you see in them, is some of the heavy ones that have fallen off the wall. So I have them on the little thing. But anyway, I am in my office here at home. So I mean, I can stay in the bed all day, and not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But it takes discipline. It takes a lot of effort in order to be able to walk in what's new. I pray I have said something to you all that would cause you to shift into something new. I know this message is for somebody out there, and I, like I said, I pray that this helped you all. And so I promise to do better on the next video. But thank you for tuning in to bringing the kingdom of heaven down to earth. Thank you. You all have a blessed day.